He's not a couch surfing kind of revolutionary guy. He's got a real job, but he's thinking like, oh, once the revolution starts, I'm ready. That's what he thinks. He pushes his brother away. So we see Matthew, he lives all the way in Capernaum, and there's this rift between the brothers. You've got this zealous one and the Herodian one, and they just can't get on. Until, of course, Jesus reconciles the two by making them both apostles, and then they're closer than ever by the end of Jesus' ministry. And St. Athanasius, we've looked at his life story before. In his synopsis of sacred scripture, he says that it wasn't Matthew that translated Matthew's gospel into Greek, it was James. And so after being reunited as a family unit, Matthew was able to share his ultimate passion project with his brother. And James saw that Matthew's work wasn't just useful for Jerusalem, it was worth taking all across the Greek-speaking world, which at that time spread from Spain in the west and all the way to China. There were places in China they spoke Greek. So it was very useful to translate. He was like, we've got to bring this book with us. So then he preached out Samaria and Lebanon and as far north as Edessa before heading south to preach in Egypt with Matthew and Alphaeus. All of that stuff we looked in Matthew's sort of story. And the Ethiopian Sanhedrin has an awesome story. They go to Marmarica in Libya, and there they say that James and Matthew baptized the king of the dogheads. We've looked at the dogheads before, that tribe, and so they actually go to the king. And then this king preaches as well, and they convert 200 dogheads. And that's pretty awesome. So then the family of preachers, they split up at this point. Alphaeus goes to Greece, Mary goes to France. We're not sure about where Abertius and Helena went, but we know they were martyred after many years of preaching. James went through Arabia to preach in India, but he returned to Sinai and stayed there for many years. Some say that James was the greatest teacher among the 12. His travels weren't as extensive as Thomas. We remember he preached just about everywhere. John Chrysostom says he preached everywhere, Thomas. James didn't, but he built up solid churches that would be centres for learning and growth, stable oases in the middle of hectic persecutions and heresy. The Book of Common Prayer actually says that James was the one who wrote this James was the one who wrote the Epistle of James, not the brother of God, which is odd enough, which is just how great a reputation this one had as a teacher, that he's as good as the brother of God, so that's really saying something.